is the voice of CBS Sports, face of CBS Sports. There's no two ways about it. Tomorrow night, he will be calling Bengals-Browns on Thursday Night Football, now only on NFL Network, with the exception of the simulcast returning on December 3rd when the Packers take on the Lions. He is none other than Jim Nantz. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing right, just great, my friend. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Are you in Cincinnati at this point?
I am. Just finished up with meetings with Marvin Lewis.
Okay, great.
We're getting set for the game tomorrow night, Battle of Ohio.
So how do you feel that Manziel starting how is Marvin Lewis reacting to that from your meeting with him, Jim?
You know, they played against him last year in December. That was Manziel's first NFL start.
Crushed him.
They did. They crushed him 30-0, and they held him to 5 first downs for the game. So I don't think there's any great hoopla or excitement, the fact that they're going to take on Johnny Football. They've lived through that already last year with it being his much ballyhooed first NFL start. And this Bengals team right now they're on a great roll here. They're very focused. They know what they want to do, and they don't really care who's going to start against them tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. I mean, it really is. It's a game of musical chairs in a way. When the music stops after Week 17, which team other than New England, Denver, and Cincinnati is going to be playing a home wild card game as opposed to sitting at home?
Very interesting. As I was standing on the stadium floor today and talking to some of the Cincinnati assistants, that's exactly what my topic of conversation was. Who is going to be? Which two of the three that are undefeated right now are going to have the first round bye? Of course, there's a crucial Cincinnati at Denver game on the Monday after Christmas, and we know that New England has to play at Denver as well. So kind of a nice little round robin, if you will, still to come to sort out those top 2 seeds and which team otherwise will have to play an extra game. And I don't know the answer to that. I just know that this team right here to me looks really good.
Yeah.
They look like one of the best to me. If I had to say, right now, just guessing, maybe New England and Cincinnati. But as soon as it leaves your lips, you start thinking about Denver and what they're doing, how great Peyton played the other night, and how that defense is maybe the best single unit in football this year. This is a loaded conference. We're already getting a pretty good glimpse, Rich, at what the playoffs are going to look like, particularly on the AFC side, as these divisions have already kind of gotten away in 3 cases. And it's pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, because you're, if I'm not mistaken, heading to Indianapolis after the Thursday night game. You're going to be calling Peyton Manning's return to Indianapolis for a second time on CBS Sunday afternoon, correct? You're going to be doing that one?
That's right. We double up this weekend with Peyton coming back to Indy. And I can't really see a scenario where it's going to bring Peyton back to Indianapolis ever again. So it's probably not the uniqueness of that first time when Peyton came back and played in Indy for the first time as a Bronco. But, I think there's going to be its own uniqueness to it for his sake, coming back to Indy and probably knowing he'll never play there again.
Now, do you say that because you don't think Peyton's returning next year, or you think the Colts aren't going to finish in first place in the AFC South, Jim?
Well, if they do finish first again, I don't see a scenario in the postseason this year that would bring Denver to Indianapolis.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't see that.
All right.
And now it's a matter of Denver wins its division, Cincinnati wins its division. They could see. Of course, they would have a first place schedule next year, so they'd be on. But we don't know whether that game would be at Cincy or at Denver.
Sure.
And I'm just thinking, the way I'm looking at it, I'm not trying to announce anyone's retirement. I definitely don't have any kind of scoop here, but. I kind of think this might be it for Peyton. I don't, and I'm not basing it on, any poor performance or anything like that. He just played great the other night. But after all, he is 39 years old, and, I think the odds are long he'll ever see Indianapolis again.
Yeah, and then Thursday night next week, it's going to be Bills at Jets. So you've got this one tonight, and then you've got that one tomorrow night, and then you got that one on Sunday, and then another one on Thursday. And I noticed, though, that you did not call a game on Sunday. Actually, I had a rare Sunday off. What did you do on that Sunday, Jim?
I stayed at home, stayed up the road in California, and watched you early in the morning, and watched a whole slate of football. And I had back-to-back Sundays off. The previous Sunday, I actually got on a plane and flew to London.
Now hold on a second. What do you mean for the football game, Jim?
Did you know this?
I sort of only ask questions that I think I know the answer to. Yeah. What did you do in London, Jim?
I did. I got off the plane. I was with my daughter Caroline. She's a senior at USC, and this was a reward trip for. She's going to be graduating in the spring. She's been a fabulous student, made Dean's List virtually, all the way through, and I had this opportunity to go to London, and we stopped off at Wembley Stadium and attended the Buffalo-Jacksonville game.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool, sitting in the stands. I don't get to do that very often. In fact, I haven't done that in years.
Okay.
And then on Monday night, we attended the world premiere of Spectre, the James Bond movie.
No
Walked the red
kidding.
carpet, went to the cast after party. It was fabulous.
Now, I've been told, Jim, that you went to this premiere in a full-on tux because this is the sort of that you are a Bond nut. Is that a true story,
Okay.
Jim?
Oh, who doesn't love the whole James Bond series? And I happen to have been fortunate enough to have attended the world premiere at Royal Albert Hall in London for Skyfall as well.
No kidding.
And for someone that has been given the chance to attend a lot of really big events, whether they be Super Bowls or Final Fours or Masters golf tournaments, this to me is like one of the great kicks of all time, particularly when you can share it the first time around with my wife, and this time around with my oldest daughter. It was just really great. You have to. Tux is mandatory, my friend.
Is it? Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so they will not let you on that red carpet or in.
There are probably 1,000 people or so that were at Royal Albert Hall. I didn't see anyone without a tuxedo on.
Did you meet any royalty?
Side.
Did you meet any royalty, Jim?
The royalty was just a couple of balcony boxes away from us. We had a very good view of Prince William and Princess Kate, Prince Harry, and didn't get a chance to say hello or hang out with them, but we were in the room breathing the same oxygen.
So who's your Bond, Jim? Who's your favorite Bond, if you had to choose?
That's a tough one. This Daniel Craig is really good in the role. This is an excellent movie, by the way.
Yeah.
For someone that knows the stories and the backstories, and I don't know how they wrote it and tied so many loose ends together of bringing together villains of the past.
Right.
At least in the script, and explaining a lot of things, and action scenes are off the charts. And Craig is terrific. I hope he does another one. He's hinting he may not do another one.
I know.
The main thing was to be able to share the experience with my daughter.
That's great.
And the whole red carpet thing is a little over the top for me, but
so we
savored every single second of it, and took about 45 minutes to make our way down 2 city blocks in London, and then just hung out with everybody from Sam Mendes, the director, on down, Sam Smith, who already has a UK #1 off the Bond theme song, so we got to meet him. It was all good stuff.
Yeah, and we've got Dave Bautista, who's the henchman. He's coming up the next hour. I got to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I saw him. He was on the red carpet, and he was being interviewed there on their local version of E. And in fact, he's a pretty nasty character in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any of the plot away, but he really takes care of business when he makes his entrance into this movie.
Fantastic. I can't wait to meet him later on, and this is neat. I geek out on Bond, Jim. I'm a Bond freak. I can't wait for this.
Oh, you
movie.
are a Bond freak.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's no question.
The Goldfinger, which goes way back with Sean Connery, one of the very first installments. Of course, it started in 1962 with Dr. No, and that's why when you were at Skyfall's premiere 3 years ago, it was the 50-year anniversary of the start of Bond. And that was really cool because all the old Bonds were back for that. So were a lot of the Bond girls. So that was interesting people watching event, and this one was in its own right. But there are some ties that go all the way back to Blofeld from Goldfinger in this movie.
Wait to see it.
It's amazing. If they never shot another Bond film, the whole series kind of came full circle and was tied together in the end. Now, there are going to be plenty more to come.
Right.
It's just a huge moneymaker, and it premiered around the world and set records. And the next one will be, of course, the historic 25th Bond ever. But
fantastic.
This one is exceptionally well done.
I can't wait to see it. Jim Nantz joining me here. A couple more questions.
That's what we do on our bye week.
Yeah,
it wasn't a bye week. I had a Thursday night game in San Francisco.
Right.
And I had that Sunday off. So my next game was at New England. So naturally, how do you get from a game in San Francisco to a game at New England? Mm-hmm. You go to England. You go to London.
You go to Old England. You go to Old England before you go to New England.
And you go to Old England. And moreover, I've got both Buffalo and Jacksonville who I watched in person, coming up in November games on Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. So I thought I might as well go over there and do a little scouting.
Look at you, Jim. You're a professional.
Makes perfect sense.
You're a professional even when you're off the clock. Look at you.
That's what it was all about.
That's why you're as good as they come. But before I let you go, I do want to ask you a quick golf question. I don't know if you saw Tiger's old caddy, Steve Williams' book out that he said that Tiger was beyond disrespectful. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what Steve Williams wrote in this book.
No, I haven't seen that, so I mean, I hate to even comment on something that I haven't seen. But Steve, was with Tiger for a long time. They won a lot of events together, and be a little surprised, honestly, if Steve was hypercritical of Tiger.
He was.
I know it didn't part in exactly a perfect way, but man, they shared some significant triumphs together, and Steve is kind of semi-retired now from looping, caddying, that is, as we call it, and is going to come out occasionally for Adam Scott. But I'll be anxious to read that.
Yes, and there's many different reviews of it. Vindictive is one of them, and another one is eye-opening. I mean, it's sort of all over the map about it. And then yet another young gun has won a PGA Tour event. Justin Thomas, a 22-year-old.
By the way, who's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I mean, he's
got to be someone who's been motivated by all the talk that the next 10 years in golf is going to be all about Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, and Rory McIlroy. And Justin Thomas is one of these probably, in the first 5 guys that you could rattle off who would be saying, what about me? Where am I going to fit into that?
Yeah.
You got guys like Ricky Fowler, Dustin Johnson's still a pretty young guy, even though he's crossed the 30 barrier. But it's good to get a guy like that credentialed with a victory, and there's going to be plenty more for him.
Well, Jim, I'm looking forward to chatting with you tomorrow night. I do want to make a mention before you go. You mentioned about family being important to you. To fly off with your daughter for a reward trip, and your fantastic wine, The Calling, which my wife and I got as holiday gifts for a bunch of people last year.
That was so nice of you.
Oh, come on! Susie and I love the grapes. The Calling is a great
thank
wine.
You. We just had some wonderful ratings come out. We're very proud of. Most brands will be a specialty, and with one varietal, they'll be known as a Chardonnay brand or a Pinot brand, and we have a Cabernet as well. And all 3 of them got the ratings in the 90s by wine enthusiasts. That's a big deal when you have ratings that are excellent across the board, and that's what we strive for. We're really excited. And thank you.
No, of course, 20% of your online wine sales this month will be donated to the Alzheimer's research at the Nantz National
Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Now, this is something that we spread awareness, my wife Courtney and I, 12 months a year, and we have the Nantz National Alzheimer's Center down at Houston Methodist Hospital, named for my father, and we are right on the front lines of all the latest research. And I've got to tell you, this has been such a dreadful disease for so long. There's never been any hope, optimism, until in the last year, inside that community of science and medicine, there is. You can hear it in their voices of the researchers,
That's awesome.
Ours included. We're working on things that I really, truly believe in the next 3 or 4 years are going to make an absolutely titanic difference. There's going to be a shift, and we're going to be seeing some difference in the way we look at Alzheimer's. I really, truly believe for our children,
that's terrific
generations
news.
To come. I really think we're getting closer, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm thrilled to hear it, and I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow night on NFL Network. Thanks as always.
I always enjoy chatting with you there, Mr. Eisen. Thank you, pal.
You bet. That's so. We say goodbye, friend, to Jim Nantz.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.